Quixa presenta?
Un razzo interplanetario?
No, non esageriamo.
Una polizza assicurativa?
Banale, non solo.
Un'offerta esclusiva?
Quasi, ma non proprio.
Un nuovo prodotto smart e innovativo?
Risposta esatta. È Quixa Smart, una linea di soluzioni innovative di Quixa, la compagnia 100% digitale di AXA Italia. Perché ci sono situazioni in cui non hai bisogno solo di una polizza, ma di servizi semplici e concreti per vivere con più tranquillità. Prodotti smart con un'offerta smart. Un mese gratis e disdici quando vuoi. Ma capiamo meglio di cosa si tratta. Tra le soluzioni proposte da Quixa Smart c'è salute. Hai un medico o un pediatra a tua disposizione anche in videochiamata o direttamente a casa tua. E quando non puoi uscire, pensiamo noi a mandare la ricetta in farmacia e a portarti le medicine a casa. Inoltre, puoi richiedere l'assistenza di un'infermiera, di una collaboratrice domestica, di un babysitter, di un dog sitter, di un fisioterapista e di un autista. Tra le soluzioni Quixa Smart c'è anche sicurezza digitale, per stare tranquillo quando navighi su internet e quando fai degli acquisti online, ma anche una difesa concreta contro il cyberbullismo per tutti i membri della tua famiglia. E poi c'è anche Quixa Smart Casa, per vivere con tranquillità gli imprevisti legati alla casa. Hai bisogno ad esempio di un idraulico, di un elettricista o di un altro artigiano? Con Quixa Smart Casa hai un esperto a casa tua, disponibile 24 ore su 24 tutti i giorni dell'anno. Quixa Smart, l'innovazione digitale in tasca. Un mese gratis e disdici quando vuoi.
Scusa, a quando il razzo interplanetario?
So hello then everybody, welcome along to the fourth round of the esports series.net ACC League. We're here at Kyalami Circuit in South Africa for the fourth round, and it is looking to be possibly a wet race. There's plenty of clouds looming overhead, but once again in the commentary box we've got Matteo Lorenzetti with me alongside. How are you, Matteo?
Hello, Aiden. Thanks a lot. Happy to find you back here in the commentary booth. Everything is fine. Let's see what's going on tonight in Kyalami.
Yeah, Kyalami being one of the new additions to Assetto Corsa Competizione. We've got obviously 4 new circuits to go at, and for round 4, as I said, we're here at Kyalami. So interesting to see how the drivers get on tonight because of, well, many things really. The weather, the new track, learning the new track with the variation of cars we've got on the grid, and just seeing how the drivers on in general, because there's still a championship at stake, obviously. So we can have a little look at the championship standings. I'm just going to check 2 seconds. Has your footage?
It's perfect.
Is your footage still going, Matteo?
Yeah,
My
absolutely.
footage seems to be. It was a little bit lagging just then, but it seems okay now. So.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll have a quick rundown, because whilst we've got this man on screen at the moment, we've got Luca Lozio, who is the current championship leader for the Jean Alesi Esports Academy, and he is on the top of the pile at the moment with 131 points as a total, but he is only 8 points ahead of Andrea Capoccia in P2, followed by Giuseppe Montalbano in P3 for Motorsport Racing Line. And then you do have Roberto Carturan in 4th, Alberto Gianfrest in 5th, both for the N20 racing team. And then you do have Angelo Trafilio in the Fast and Aged car. He's on 86 points in 6th position, only 4 points ahead of Gianni Monaco in the GTWR Carmen car. And then you've got Luca Lozio's teammate, which is Luca Tozzato. He's in 8th position, with Luca Colombo in 9th and Francesco Dondi in 10th position.
Yeah, it seems that everything it's still at stake. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. With the top 3 only being separated by 16 points, and Carturan and Jamfres not too far afield either, being only sort of 33 points off the leader. It could go any which way, especially if one of these guys has a bad round or two. Obviously, we've got round 4 tonight and round 5 in a week's time, where I believe we're going to Suzuka, are we?
Yeah, exactly. It's the one of the other tracks released by Kunos with the new Intercontinental GT pack. So another difficult track for all the drivers involved. There is also an interesting situation for the team classification. There it's even more evenly matched, because we got the Journalism Sport Academy on top with 205 points, followed very closely by the GTVR Carman with 201 points. And there is a bit of a rift between them, because at 164 points there is the Racing Line Motorsport, and at 152 points there is the N20 team. So everything can happen also on the team classification, because the Fast and Ages is 5th and it's 88 points and seems out of the games for a top 3 position. But clearly the GTVR Carman and the Journalism Sport Academy are bitterly fighting for the top spot in the team classification.
Yes, they are. And another shout as well to the Sim Pit, where we are streaming tonight as well.
Yep.
Not sure which commentary they will be having.
The English one,
just shout out to them guys, because they are sponsoring the esports. Right, we've got commentary.
it's a pleasure to be commentating for them, because I knew Sean Cole since long time, and when we asked him for a partnership, an affiliation, call it whatever you want, he's been more than happy to answer in a positive way. So for now and in the future, the idea is to stream all the English spoken races of esportsseries.net on his channel. So we have just 2 races for this championship, but the idea is to restream also the first 3 races that has preceded this round, and other championship that esportsseries.net will organize in the future. So we are hoping to have also American drivers maybe participating in our next events, especially if they have a good ping, so that they can compete with us, with the driver in our championship without any problem. So we are more than happy about this new affiliation, because for us it's something that makes us proud to have such an affiliation with the Simpit and all the people that watches the YouTube channel of Shoko.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the Sim Pit being the go-to place for pretty much most sim racing information, definitely. I know I've been a fan of their stuff for a long time, so yeah, very happy to be, as you say, commentating on their YouTube channel. So welcome along, everybody. If you are watching from there, or indeed the Esports Series YouTube channel as well, obviously welcome along to everybody watching. So at the moment, actually, we've only got 4.5 minutes of qualifying remaining of a 20-minute session. So plenty of time for the drivers to get the laps in, but with only 4 minutes left, they're going to have to get a move on if they haven't already got their lap in. We do have a couple of new drivers, I think, as well tonight. One of them being Amir Hosseini, who I'm very familiar with, who does race.
World famous.
He is more famous, yeah. So you've got him joining the field. He's currently sitting in P2, and he's driving the Mercedes, which I'm pretty certain is the exact same car he races in another league as well, which I also commentate on. So I've seen good things from him. He's been a little bit unlucky from what I've seen with connection problems, but hopefully tonight we won't have given him any kind of commentator's curse on that one, because he definitely is a very, very fast driver indeed. Along with this man that we're watching, Luca Lozio, just flicked away from him, but he's currently sitting P4, so he's not used to being outside the top 3 actually. So he's going to want to find them extra couple of tenths. He's only just under 0.3 of a second off, as we see Angelo pulling over to the side of the road just next to pit in, like his qualifying's probably done, I would imagine. Currently sitting in 11th, but only 21 drivers tonight.
Yep. Quite typical drop off during the last part of the championship that usually happens in sim racing, but nonetheless a nice grid, because all the most important drivers of the championship are still here, so quite happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. It might be a slightly smaller grid than usual, but as you say, the depth and strength of the field is more than good enough to be giving us a quality race and some great overtakes, I'm sure, because we have been confirmed that it will be a wet race for this one.
Should be very likely.
After the 2 minutes has elapsed, we'll be away for a short break and then back with the race, which is going to be a 2-hour race. And also there's going to be 10 minutes of warm-up as well for the drivers, just to get acclimatised to the wet conditions, because they obviously are qualifying in the dry. So Mia Hosseini, as we said, currently sitting in P2 in his Mercedes, so he's mixing it with the Porsches in that Mercedes. He's the only Mercedes other than that of Tozzato who's down in 14th position, so he's managed to get a decent setup going on that car and managing to get the silver Mercedes up there, and see what he can do this lap around, see if he can improve, put himself ahead of Puzzarini, who's currently on provisional pole. Don't believe he has, so he's still got time to finish this lap, obviously. Down into turn 1, using all of the road on the way through there. As we flick away to, I'm thinking this must be another new driver, is it?
Marcucci, yeah, it's the first
Marcucci.
time I heard about him. It's another driver of the GTVR Carman. One of the many drivers that this team has, but I think that they are something like 30, 40 drivers. I don't know how many they are, but good for them because they are really good at scouting very fast sim drivers. So and seems that this is a fast sim driver also because bam, just first race with us already in the top 10, at least for now, top 6. Look at that.
Moves himself up with that lap to within half a second of the pole man. So yeah, like, as you say, very, very quick driver indeed. And the benefit of having a bigger team as well, a lot of people don't like to see big teams necessarily, but one benefit that you definitely do get is you can share data if that's something you're willing to do with your teammates. So you can definitely then share that data in the setups as well to get the best out of your car. But we've got the second place man in the championship coming across the line now. Capoccia stays P3. Capoccia is P2 in the championship, isn't it?
It's
just
P2.
Questioning myself now, but yeah, I think he definitely is in the Ferrari. So it's front 3 cars, all different to each other. So Kyalami suiting a variation of different cars, and we've now got the lap of Capoccia to still watch because I think he did cross the line in time to start another lap, and we've also got Gianni Monaco as well.
Yeah, we got the double live.
So this is actually the same team, different livery though. So I'm assuming it's a different team in the league standings, but another entry from the GTWR Carmen eSport team. He has got a bit of traffic ahead of him actually coming up to the end of the lap as he comes through what they do call the mine shaft and then into the crocodiles apparently. I've just got the track map up as well to try and learn some of the corner names around here because Kyalami is a track that's been around for a long time but only just came on the radar for a lot of people since it was added to the GT Challenge calendar, as well as being the 9-hour of Kyalami, and then obviously being added into Assetto Corsa Competizione as well.
Is the new layout of the track. I used it to race on Grand Prix Legends on the older version of the track. It has been completely rebuilt in many ways. It's quite different from the original one, but seems an interesting track nonetheless. Qualification over also. Capoccia just ended right now in 3rd place, and so we got our good friend Riccardo Puzzorini that has had a nightmare of the start of the championship because he basically has the DNF on the first race, then he won the second race, and then he messed it up at the start of the third race, if you remember.
Yes, I do, yeah, and he had to start from pit lane.
And so his pole position for him, good job for the Rebel Racing sim driver. Then Emi Rossini at 1/10, and then Andrea Capoccia 66 milliseconds behind.
Yeah, so and also Montalbano and Luca Lozio as well there. So the top 5 all split by 0.2 of a second, and the whole grid basically split by 2 seconds. So very, very competitive times from a lot of drivers, especially in the midfield as well. We've got plenty of guys down from Angelo in 11th all the way down, all very close. But as we said, Montalbano's in 4th with Luca Lozio in 5th. Carturan in 6th position with Marcucci, who is obviously the new driver we were talking about, which is his Ferraris in P7. He then got Chiesa in the Lamborghini in P8, Dondi in P9, Bilancini in P10.
Absolutely good for the race. I think this is positioning us for a nice race because Lozio is in 5th position and absolutely must do race on Andrea Capoccia. But we got 2 guys really fast in front, like Puzzarini and Osseni. That Osseni, it's clearly cut off from any championship championship idea, let's say. But I don't think it would start his adventure on esportsseries.net just with a second place or worse.
Yeah, very good job from him. So we will be back after the advertisement break. So we'll catch you in a moment for the race.
Racing, Scuderia Ferrari Edition, the heart of the race.
So we are back then, everybody, for the free practice session, or warm-up, should we say, to the 2-hour race that is going to be happening in 7 minutes' time. So just a bit of time for the drivers to load a few setups and changes to their cars that they might want to make. Currently, in this warm-up, we are actually in sunny conditions. I was fully expecting to see this session be a wet session because we are expecting rain in the race. So we'll have to see what the drivers can do with rain sprung upon them. Obviously, the track can change as well with the drying line throughout the race if it goes from wet to dry or dry to wet. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. And we've actually now got the classification of the standings up as we went through earlier on. So prizes in this series, in the esports series league, for the top 3 drivers. So we do have Luca Lozio in first position, followed by Andrea Capoccia in P2, Montalbano in P3, Alberto Corturan in P4, Alberto Jamprest in P5. So all of those drivers only split by 33 points, so still very much all of those guys in contention, and not too far adrift either, or 6th and 7th place being Angelo Trafilio and Gianni Monaco as well. And then here comes Luca Tozzato, Luca Colombo and Francesco Dondi, and as you can see the rest of the drivers as well on screen.
Yeah, pretty much everything can happen because with 15 points at stake every race, you know that it isn't over until it's over. So it will be interesting to see who's up for the grabs of the prizes that we got. We forgot to mention to the Simpit audience prizes that are actually at stake for this championship. That they are quite interesting because we've got a wheel from Taskmaster, a complete set of a T150 Pro complete of base, the wheel and the pedals for the first placed driver. Then we got a second prize, a Corsair keyboard, is the Key 17 RGB MK2 keyboard, cherry brown, and the third prize is a joypad from Razer, is the Raiju mobile Android controller. Next time we will show them with a overlay during the live, so everybody. No, actually we've been able to show them, so you can see who's what at stake. Let's hope that the best driver, that for now seems Luca Lozio, will be able to get the big prize.
Yeah, definitely at the moment looks that way to me. It seems that he's been very good in his Porsche, but as you say, there's not many points in it really. Anyone has any kind of slip up in that top sort of 5 or 6 positions, then they are going to be obviously losing out valuable points. But looking at the team's classification as well, got Jean Alesi Esports Academy, who Luca Lozio does indeed drive for, and they are on 205 points at the moment, and followed by, very closely indeed, only 4 points back, is the GTWR Carmen team. So that is all to play for still as well. And then in P3 is the Racing Line Motorsport team, closely followed by the N20 team on 164 and 152 points.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see which driver. I'm asking to the director to try to understand which drivers are getting points for their teams, because if I'm not wrong, the GTVR Carman has more than just 2 drivers maybe tonight, and therefore the rules of esportsseries.net asks the manager of the where to declare which drivers are actually getting points. But I think that we got also the manager of the GT who are here on the chat of the Simpit, is Giorgio Cornacchia. Hello Giorgio, maybe you can tell us which are the drivers that actually are getting points. so that we can better understand what's going on also on the team situation for the championship.
Yeah, so we're actually on board with one of their drivers right now, who's actually pulling over to the side of the road. So he's going to retire to the pit lane. He's going to tweak his setup a bit more. You can see the car's just gone up on jacks, so that is him making a few setup changes. And here is the pole man, Puzzarini, Riccardo Puzzarini, in the green and black Porsche. He's had, let's say, an unfortunate season so far. He did very well in the first race to only then get spun around, I believe it was.
It was the first. It was the first one that he has at DNF.
While
He recovered in the second one, and he literally messed it up at the start of the third one because he lost the right moment to come on the grid, and basically had to start from last, wasting a lot of practice for the for past race.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him to have to stop pit lane, but he is on pole position tonight for this 2-hour race around Kyalami, so obviously anything can happen in that length of time. It's a long race in terms of sim standards, especially because most drivers only do sort of 45 minutes to 1 hour races. These have all been 1 hour and 45 minute races for rounds 1, 2 and 3, but tonight we will be doing a 2-hour stint, so quite hard working, tiring for the drivers, especially when we're expecting rain to fall rather heavy as well, so the driver's going to have to really be on their toes for the car to possibly catch them out if they haven't got the balance quite right. But I would imagine the Porsches will go quite well tonight, with them being rear-engined and the weight being over the rear wheels to help with the traction zones. But Kyalami is a very fast circuit from what I've seen so far. I've only played a little bit of this circuit on Assetto Corsa Competizione. I've never driven it before that either, so it was quite an eye-opening experience to not only try and learn a completely new track, but also see how fast the corners are, and it is quite scary at parts of this circuit. And we're currently on board here now watching Amir Hosseini, who's new to the championship but is not new to a lot of people in sim racing, as the checker flag now falls. But Amir is a very fast driver, and he's definitely going to be one to watch in that Mercedes tonight, as he does pull over. He's going to retire to the pit lane to then get the race session started, hopefully.
You know from where Amir Hosseini is racing? It's in UK, it's in Europe mainland?
I'm not entirely sure where he actually is based, but I know, I'm pretty certain, I hope he forgives me if I am wrong, but I'm pretty certain he may actually be Iranian.
Yeah, he's Iranian, but from where he's racing? Did you know if he's really racing from Iran?
I feel like it is, because the only reason I say that is because when I have been in sessions with him before now, he has had a few issues with connection-wise,
okay.
His ping being a little bit higher than what you'd expect if it was mainland Europe or the UK. So I feel like it might be that he is racing in Iran, but possibly not. He may well be elsewhere. But
from the chat, it's telling us Israel. So not mainland Europe, but not Iran nonetheless. So thanks, John, for pointing us from where he's racing. Let's hoping that he didn't have ping issues and didn't cause problems to the other drivers.
Yeah, hopefully not, because he is starting P2 tonight, as you can see. So that is the order. We obviously have the safety car at the front of the field, that being the McLaren safety car. As you can see on grid spot number 1, that car will lead the cars around on their formation lap, or the parade lap as you might call it, and will then peel off into pit lane, giving the control over to Puzzarini, and then everyone will form up in a single file line, I believe it is, and then we will go racing down into turn 1. Quite a long run actually into turn 1. tonight. So I think we may see a couple of moves down there in turn 1 and 2. Because it's quite a good sequence of corners to go side by side. Currently on board there in the picture-in-picture screen with Capoccia. Getting ready for the start, 50 seconds to go, so this is just a bit of downtime for the drivers just before this long race, and they can just get the setup sorted, make sure they've got the right set of tyres on. Obviously we are starting under dry conditions, actually, with the sun shining, so gonna be very interesting to see when and if the rain comes at all. I have actually just noticed as well, it isn't a 2-hour race now. It has been reverted back to the 1 hour and 45 minute usual.
Yes.
Yeah, so not quite as long, but still a long slog for any driver in the simulator. So the safety car will now lead the field away. As you can see, the 720S pulls away. Race clock will start when the lights go green across the start finish line next time around. So, who's your money on tonight then, Matteo?
This is hard because Puzzarini is quite strong, and Dosseni it's in a good position in the classic nothing to lose position. Capoccia is the usual, is the man to watch because tonight it's crucial for his championship ambitions. And Lozio, it looks like it's a bit in the tatters because he's in 5th position, and he must absolutely put down a stellar performance to stay in front, or at least to not too many points to Capoccia, because a bad race for him tonight would be really a mess, considering the tactical situation for the last race.
Yeah, definitely. He's a couple of places back from his main rival being Capoccia. So, as you say, he's going to have to have his wits about him there, starting in P5. Because obviously the safety car will peel away. So, yeah, I feel like Amir, as you say, could be one to watch because he has got nothing to lose necessarily. He obviously wants to prove everyone that he's the best driver on the grid, as every driver does. So, he's got to be going all guns out, I would think. You can see Montalbano just in the background warming some tyres, and Luca Lozio we're on board with now as well. Just ahead is Montalbano, the other Porsche, so the driver's going to be getting closer together now as the safety car has now accelerated away to get in pit lane ready for the race start. So Amir, as you can see, closing up the back of the Porsche. Through the penultimate corner everyone comes. It's a single file start for this. Actually, Luca Lozio nearly running into the back of Montalbano there, but it looks like we have now gone racing.
What's happening in the middle of the pack?
Maybe not. In the middle of the pack.
Oh!
What's happened in the middle of the pack?
No, absolutely nothing, but they are jostling at the front. There is quite close racing at the moment. And Puzzarini seems able to retain the lead.
No, he doesn't. It's a bit of contact from Capoccia, but Capoccia's actually got back on the track now, and there's 3 and 4 wide further back, and there's actually a bit of contact, and it looks like one of the Mercedes is off. Looks like it could well have been Todd Sato possibly, but it looks like Puzzarini has maintained the lead now. A little bit further back, you've got the Lamborghini challenging of Chiesa. He's actually had a brilliant start up into third.
Yeah.
4th place, sorry. Brilliant start from him.
I'm looking, doesn't like that anything major happened. Everybody is more or less in his original starting position, except for Chiesa that gained a bit of places, so good work for him. I was looking at the first corner in horror, I must be honest to admit, but nothing happened, so good for them. quite clean racing from everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Puzzarini, as we said, holding on to the lead. Montalbano gaining a position ahead of Capoccia. And also, who was the other driver? So it was Hossini. Hossini's one of the drivers that got involved. It was the Mercedes, as I saw off the track. It wasn't Tozzato. My apologies.
Very
it was
aggressive,
Amir Hossini. Yeah,
it's very aggressive now on Trifilio.
Yeah, Trifilio up to 9th from 11th position. So Amir wanting to get by him if he can, and he's actually having a look down the inside into the last corner, and he's got the inside on the Aston Martin, and he does squeeze him out of road, but fair game there. Very good move from Orsini, and he's up into P9 now, I believe that'll be. The Aston Martin, as we know from Paul Ricard, has good straight line speed. Will he challenge back on the inside? He thinks about it, but checks back inside again and tucks behind the rear wing of the Mercedes. Luca Lozio still remaining in 5th position. Chiesa getting past him, and Dondi also having a good run as well. The Lamborghini just running a bit wide there though, so that's going to give Luca Lozio the run into Sunset Bend, but not quite close enough. We jump on board with him now. Going to have probably a little look into the next corner, being Clubhouse Bend, and he's not quite close enough to grab the inside line. But very good start from everybody by the looks of things. All very close still with only 1.5 laps completed.
And it's a long one, so everybody is on his toes. But they are already pushing with the car full of fuel.
Dondi up the inside. He's just got up the inside, sorry to interrupt you, but he's just dived up the inside into the hairpin. And I think it was, Luca Lozio got him back. You saw it from the rear view mirror of the rear facing camera, of Chiesa of the Lamborghini, and he's actually defending Luca Lozio now into the next corner. And with them, no, we aren't. There we go. Back on Helicam, and Luca Lozio does hold the position. He managed to get the cutback on Dondi because Dondi threw it down the inside into the hard braking zone, into the slow corner hairpin at the top of the hill, and couldn't get it stopped in time, and Lozio just swept back past him. So good bit of driving there from both of them, but it was nearly a late lunch from Dondi.
In the meantime, Puzzarini seems to keep in quite easily his lead on Montalbano, while Capoccia is comfortably in his usual position, 3rd. Basically, I think Capoccia has been in 3rd position in the World Championship, baby.
Got Angelo as well, challenging into Sunset Bend just ahead of this battle. You can see the blue and orange Aston Martin all over the back of Amir Hossini as he ran wide a little bit, trying to get a run on Bilancini ahead of him. Bilancini being the man just in the bottom of the shot there, the white Aston Martin, currently running in 8th position, 276 car. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Capoccia looking like he's close enough to make a move on Montalbano. And likewise, Montalbano hanging to the back gearbox of Puzzarini as well. So, in equal machinery, obviously, them two as well. But the Ferrari, Capoccia, going with them as well. And he's actually looking to the inside as Montalbano, and he doesn't quite manage to get it stopped, and he misses the apex. That's going to probably give the Ferrari a bit of a chance, is it? No, not quite. So manages to gather it all up, Montalbano, into the in the right camera. We had Montalbano following Puzzarini, that is drawing the lines very carefully with that Porsche. Seems they are doing different lines, but here there is the pack. We are looking at the Ossini that it's forced to come back. Ossini. No, it's Angelo Trifilio actually. Yeah, he's trying to get back past him after he passed him earlier on, and we've got Monaco and Corterango in side by side as well.
Oh, on the corrugation, Monaco.
We're back up the inside, and there's a bit of contact and sideways from the Aston Martin, and the Ferrari now wide, but he's going to get the job done, I would think. The Aston Martin can't put it up the inside there, I don't think, into the S's, and he does slot in behind him.
just to clarify for the audience that didn't have the chance to see the previous races, usually these races on a strategy standpoint are one stopper basically, because all drivers are going long with the full tanks, and you should expect for a one stopper. But we've got the rain big question mark, so maybe this time will be different. I see a driver losing the car, and there is some mess on the main straight. It's a Lamborghini. I didn't know who it was. Maybe Chiesa. Yes, it was Chiesa.
Yeah.
It was Chiesa. It was Chiesa.
It
Something happened.
He's stopped on the way into pit in. I think we're gonna caught a replay just then, but we only caught the end of it, and it looks like he's dropped all the way down to the back of the field nearly.
Capoccia Montalbano, quite close. Quite close, the Ferrari of Capoccia. Trying to outside, but there's no room there. Seems like they've been able to get some of the gap from Puzzarini. It's Montalbano at 7/10 from Puzzarini, but he doesn't like so from the camera, and Capoccia is right on the bumper of Montalbano.
Yeah, Montalbano falling back a touch from Puzzarini, but obviously it's only tenths of a second we're talking about. He's still only 7/10 back. I wonder if the Ferrari's going to try it into the right-hander at the end of the lap. I don't think he has. But we've got Bundy as well, all over the back of Lozio. I'm wondering whether Lozio may well have picked up a bit of damage, from that earlier contact with the stricken Lamborghini. And Dondi's actually lost the car, and he's into the wall, and right in front of, I think it was Marcucci. Yeah, Marcucci nearly into the back of Dondi, because Dondi slapped the wall on the entrance to the final corner. And Amir Hosseini also defending as well, down into turn 1.
There it goes, Dondi in 5th position. Oh, we got 3 cars wide. Trifiglio and Bilancini following Hosseini. Maybe Hosseini has damage, because it doesn't live up to the actual expectation of him, like one of the fastest drivers in the world. Or maybe this time he has found a highest level of competition. But I will go rather for the damaged Mercedes for him.
Hosseini is now up into 7th position now, and Marcucci's actually got ahead of Dondi, as we saw down into turn 1. I think that was when he got the job done after Dondi's mistake. And as I said, I think Luca Lozio may have a little bit of damage. Obviously, he only clipped the Lamborghini as the Lamborghini span, but quite possibly a little bit of damage on that. But Puzzarini pulling away now, 1.4 seconds the gap. And Capoccia putting massive pressure on the other Porsche Montalbano.
Capoccia Montalbano trying on the outside. Great break from Capoccia, but nowhere to go. It's bumping Montalbano, and he's putting him back straight. Oh, major mess just averted right now.
Yeah, it could have easily led to a spin, that definitely.
But Montalbano will have, I think he's actually having damage on the back of the car. The crash happened at low speed, I think. They were more or less at the same speed, but clearly there will be consequences for him, likely to be sorted out at the next pit stop.
Just trying to get my stream back up. To disappear briefly. Just a quick one. What is your race timer on currently?
1 minute 33 and 30 seconds.
Is it now on 27, 26, 25? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we are 1 second, more or less 1 second different between me and you.
Yeah, I think it was a bit more than that. Sorry to the viewers if I was slightly out of sequence. I feel like my what I was seeing was slightly behind what was actually being broadcast, so I've just rectified that. So we've now hopefully got my voice lining up with the footage for you, because that was not ideal. But yeah, let's just see how we go. We've got a call, lost it in the background. It looked like it was Monaco actually, and the Ferrari was just backwards in the penultimate corner. Everyone's finding that corner very tricky because there is a big bump on the inside of the corner. There's a sausage curve on the inside which can easily catch you out, and yes, it was Gianni Monaco going down into 16th position now, just ahead of Chiesa, who's obviously had his tribulations as well. I'm wondering what's actually happened to Amato and Gagliardini as well. They are battling for 18th and 19th, quite close together, just behind Chiesa as well. But obviously they've been involved or in some form of incident somewhere to drop that far behind the pack.
I think something we can see what's happening between Capoccia and Montalbano that stretched the gap from Puzzarini, that it's actually first with 4 seconds on the second and third on the second and third driver, while here we got a nice pack between Hosseini, Dondi and Marcucci. Hosseini swerving from the left to the right, quite aggressive.
No defence though from Dondi. I mean, Dondi holding position, trying to keep Hosseini at bay. I thought it was the other way around for a second then, but no, yeah, Dondi, after losing the place to the other Ferrari, is now in the clutches of the Mercedes, and the Mercedes trying down the inside once again, but not quite managing to get the run through, and he's awfully close now, coming up to this penultimate corner and the final corner of the lap, and Dondi again very wide over the gravel, where he nearly lost it again there, because that's where he lost it obviously before, as we saw. And we've got the two Aston Martins as well, Bilancini and Trafilio not too far adrift, and also Carturan and Colombo as well not too far adrift either in the background, coming through shot at the top of your picture just about. So those guys will be looking to get in on the act if they can.
Quite close racing, apart from the gap that stretched out after the little touch between Capoccia and Montalbano. Everyone is quite close each other. There is a bit of a gap between Losio and Marcucci, but otherwise almost everybody is in the second until the 10th position. Everybody is in the 5/10 second gap, a second of gap from the car that it's in front. So everything at stake, considering the race how it's long, and especially for the chance of the rain. Well, we are talking about rain while the sun is it's sunny, so maybe the forecast could catching us unaware of the fact that maybe it could be sunny for all the days, all the race.
Yeah, it could well be dry for the whole race. We have obviously got a forecast prediction of, I think it was 60% chance of rain, so quite high prediction still, really. But it could go either way, really. But even with that said, we've got obviously pit stops to take into consideration as well. Obviously, all this battling's all well and good, but if you lose 4 or 5 seconds in the pit stop, then it could well be curtains for that. But we've actually got a footage here of Capoccia trying to move on Montalbano down the inside into turn 1 once again, and looks like he gets the move done cleanly, but Montalbano fighting back, and they're going to go too wide through turn 2 and into 3, and looks like the Ferrari does actually hold on to that position, and he's 2p2 away now, and all of that battling and the bit of contact as well between Capoccia and Montalbano has allowed Puzzarini to escape to the tune of 4.4 seconds. So leading the way at the moment, Puzzarini flying along, but with only 1.5 hours left. Say only, but 1.5 hours to go. anything can happen.
Yeah, we lost the. I don't know if it was a replay or live action.
Yeah, it looked like a
But-
replay, yeah.
Yeah. I think that maybe the damage that has Montalbano on the rear is taking its toll. There is a touch between Dondi and Osseni. Osseni tried to get on the inside of Dondi in a rather unlikely spot, and he is losing position. Osseni is being touched. Is passed also by Trifilio and Carturan.
Yeah, very close between those two. But Hossini's now dropping back because he's actually gone down to 10th position now. I'm not sure what happened there, but he's now dropped all the way back after challenging Dondi. He's now behind 3 Aston Martins once again, and closely followed by Colombo as well. So not good for him.
Quite aggressive driving style, I would say, from Osseni, but with this kind of cars, it doesn't always pay so much because the skill level is high. Everybody's braking more or less at the same point. So look how he's jostling the wheel while braking. Is clearly very fast in the braking situation, but with those heavy cars, they are not driving a formula, so it's quite difficult to get the right braking point and being so fast to overbrake another car with those GT3s.
Yeah, obviously a lot heavier than anything like single seaters, and not quite as good braking performance as well. Obviously, very, very quick cars, all weighing around 1,000 kilos, a ton in weight, near enough, there or thereabouts, and obviously all the different configurations being rear engine, mid engined, or even front engined, and especially that car off Hossini, with it being front engined as well, will tend to push on in the corners, I would think, with a bit of understeer in the slower speed stuff, especially with this much fuel on as well. As we said earlier, the guys are going to be running with quite a lot of fuel on board to try and get as far as they can into the race, I would think, because there is no mandatory stop, but the fuel tanks simply will not last long enough to do the full 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, still got a great battle pack here with plenty of cars involved. We've gone on board now with Trafilio into the final corner, and if we can stay on board with this, it's going to be brilliant, because you might be able to then see some of the undulation in this track, especially around the first sector as well. Obviously here we're going down into turn 1, down the hill, very hard braking zone, hard to spot your braking zone because it's quite a blind corner pretty much until you're on top of the apex, and then you then sweep over to the left to try and get it through the right-hander and avoid the sausage curb on the left. Brake quite early, but get the car up and over the curb, and he's actually got a run here on Bilancini ahead of him into Sunset Bend, which is the following really, really fast right-hander. The outside, probably not the best place to try that one, but we've now flicked away from that one. You can still see it in the back of shot, but we're on board now with Dondi, with Marcucci. It is Marcucci, isn't it? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, correctly.
Marcucci?
Also,
Yeah.
you learn to pronounce Chiesa, so good. Everything is good tonight.
Yeah, Chiesa, I managed to get that one down, obviously just through saying it more often, and Dondi's trying into the hairpin at the top of the hill, not quite managing to get one up the inside of his fellow Ferrari compatriot, but he's got everyone behind him, from himself all the way down to Hossini in 10th, so we've got a 6-car train here nearly building up. Luca Lozio with a bit of breathing room now as well. He's 2.5 seconds behind Montalbano, but he's 3 ahead of this battle here, so a bit of breathing space for Luca Lozio. Obviously he's in P4 and his championship rival being in P2 now after overtaking Montalbano. But Serini's actually pulled the gap now to 5 seconds, so he is pulling away, and it looks like we've actually got the Aston Martin now of, I think it's Bilancini. Yeah, it is. Bilancini is attacking Marcucci, I think, because
Yes.
Dondi's actually got past him. Yeah,
Yes.
Dondi's got past him, so that's one position lost. He's actually lost another one to Bilancini, and then you've got Trafilio and the other Aston of Carturan as well. So this whole battle pack really, really closing up now as the Aston Martin there of Bilancini getting all crossed up through Barbecue Bend, as it's called. and into Sunset, and not quite close to Dondi. Dondi up to P5, pulling a gap already.
Yes, looks like Bilancini is doing a bit of a hold up for the other ones coming. Great recovery also from Trifilio, was starting 10th, I think, and
11th, I think it was.
11th. He's been able to avoid some initial issues, but now I think there will be another recovery from Hosseini. Let's see how it goes. Trifilio on the back of Marcucci.
Yes, he is.
Looking for room on the outside. He tries on the outside, and no, it doesn't make it, but nice nonetheless.
Yeah, really good attempt there, going around the outside, but runs out of road. Gonna have to be careful doing things like that, because Corsa Ram will sneak through if he gets half a chance. Also, with Hosseini being so close behind as well, he could quite easily follow him through if the door is prized open.
This confirms what we were saying before. These cars are beautiful to see, nice to drive, but to overtake someone at the braking zone, you must be laser precision perfect to do it, and usually you must try to exploit a mistake or a distraction from the driver in front of you. In the meantime, we got news from the race direction that actually is seeing the evolution of the forecast, that the rain is given at the 70% of chance by more or less the end of the race.
Fine, so yeah, so 70% chance of rain, then we could well see that then.
I think we have another race that happened with the light rain at the end. It was Barcelona or Silverstone?
I believe it was Barcelona.
Barcelona, yes.
I think so, yeah. I feel like it was Barcelona, and we were worried about people potentially having to pit. No, it was Silverstone. No, it was Silverstone. You're right, yeah. Because I remember us saying British weather.
Yeah.
Classic. That was what it was, yeah. So, no rain.
Actually, I remember it didn't change too much the position, because it was just light rain and the drivers were able to stay out on the same tires that they had while they changed them at the pit stop during the middle of the race. So it was rain, but it wasn't real rain in the sense that it forced the drivers to change for rain tires. Maybe this time with a higher percentage of forecast, maybe tonight we will see a real wet racing. Also, we have to consider another thing that we were mentioned before about the time multiplier of this race. This race is lasting for the audience and for us 1 hour and 45 minutes, but the time that it's covered during the simulated day, let's say, it's more or less 6 hours, I think. I didn't remember exactly. So the chance of rain is stretched between so much time, and it makes that a little bit more difficult to predict what's happening, but also it makes much more difficult for the drivers to understand, especially in Assetto Corsa Competizione, to forecast also the correct tire temp be set up when you are pitting for a set of rain tires. It makes just 1 degree or 2 in terms of grip. It makes all the difference of the world. I was speaking about this with Angelo Trifilio while he was preparing for the race, and he has done an extensive testing about the way the tires are behaving while it's raining, and while it's raining during the day or during the night, because it changes a lot about the temp and so the pressure of the tires.
Yeah, definitely. The pressures is something that is very, very key in this game. You've got your pressures, anything between half PSI to the full PSI out. The ideal pressures normally being around 28 psi, I think, in the,
Yes.
in the drive running, but obviously a lot
Yes.
higher in the wet running anyway. I think around 30 to 31, I think, for wet tyres. But as you say, as the not only as the rain comes,
look
oh
for
yeah,
Ossini, great overtake, a mistake from there is Trifilio searching, looking for Marcucci, but Ossini, I
he's
think,
wide.
Trifilio
Angelo is gonna
inside.
go through. Is he in the S's? He's now on the
Oh!
outside, but that'll be the inside
Look at
for the next one.
Ossini.
Yeah,
Ossini trying
Hossini's
to get
coming now as well,
advantage.
but he's on the outside. Angelo's still on the inside for the corner, so let's see if he can keep that position or not. He's going to get a good exit out and down through into the mine shaft.
Oh, beautiful,
He has
beautiful
got
side
the
by side.
inside now, but the Ferrari is going to try and hold it all the way around the outside. Is there going to be contact? No, he's on the grass. Is he going to be able to get it stopped in time? And he does just about.
Ooh.
And as well, Cartu ran nearly into the pack of Hossini as well in his Mercedes. But brilliant bit of racing there. Angelo managing to get through though, and up into P8 now. P8. P8
Ossini on this side of
Ossini.
Marcucci.
Yes, he has managed to prise the door open. I did say this, once one driver goes through, pretty much another follows when the racing is this close together. And he has followed him through, but he's coming back as the Ferrari driver. Hossini will hold the inside for turn 1. Will Carturan try and follow him through? He does, and he's actually dive-bombed the Ferrari and he's through. He's got the job done. Great move from Carturan. Very opportunistic to get the move done on Marcucci there. Marcucci down to 10th position now, after at one time running up in 5th with Dondi. So he's dropped through the field like a stone there, and he's going to have to be careful because not too far behind this battle is Colombo in 11th as well, only 1.1 behind. So
Beautiful
not
racing.
the best few laps for the Ferrari, but the Aston of Trifilio, now up to 7th position.
Kudos to Marcucci for leaving room to Trifilio in the long sequence of corners. You can clearly see the racecraft of both. Also the racecraft and the opportunity that Carturande and Ossini has just been able to get while slipstreaming Trifilio. But great work from Marcucci. He never squeezed up Trifilio while jostling for the position.
Yeah, very, very good driving from everyone involved there, because there was a couple of dive bombs, a couple of late braking manoeuvres, but plenty of side-by-side action, and everyone managing to come away cleanly. And Hossini then was on the inside of Angelo coming into the final corner, and Angelo did nearly get a bit of contact on the front of the Mercedes, which is now really, really close coming down in turn 1, followed by the Aston of Carturan. We've said about the speed of the Aston Martins. Hossini defends whilst attacking at the same time, but he doesn't manage to get the inside line, and Angelo does hold on. But the Aston Martin definitely looking quick again off that final corner down into turn 1. As we said earlier, it is a very long run down there, but pretty much one of the only long runs on the circuit other than what you would class as a straight, because it is flat out, but in the dry that's the case. In the wet, potentially not. So that's coming down from the hairpin at the top of the hill down through the long sweeper where we saw Angelo and Marcucci go side by side before. They're pretty much the two straights on the circuit. So Angelo actually there nearly getting a bit of a drift on into the S's, pushing on hard now to try and keep Hossini behind, but he's awfully close to him now, as you can see on the helicam. Just 2 or so car lengths back, with now going to the tighter line there, trying to get a good exit down. This was the straight I was talking about. This is what they call the mine shaft through the left-hander here. Really committed, fast left-hander. And Carturan a little bit far back for a move, but he does get awfully close to the back of the Mercedes, but nothing doing there. And Angelo just about managing to keep Hossini at arm's length at the moment.
I'm admiring the way that Ossini is driving that Mercedes. Looks like an import car, while it really isn't. But you can clearly see he's able to do different lines from the other drivers, especially when approaching the corners. It's always trying to put the pressure to the drivers in front by late braking and keeping the apex more aggressively than them.
Yeah, filling the mirrors of another car ahead of you can not really do any harm, to be honest, because it's always gonna almost scare the driver ahead if he is indeed even looking back. I find a lot of drivers do say to just focus on driving forward, but it's quite hard when there's an awfully big GT3 car in your mirrors that close behind that looks like they're almost going to run into the back of you every time you brake. So I know how hard that is myself, and I'm really bad for that myself, looking in the mirror too much and not focusing forward, and I end up losing more time than we should be in the battle. So speaking of battles though, we've got Capoccia in second obviously, and he has actually closed Puzzarini down by it's only half a second. But with the gap only being 5 seconds, as we said earlier, when the pit stops roll around and potentially wet weather rolls in, that 5 seconds, 4.5 seconds now, could quite easily dissipate rather quickly. So it's still all to play for, really, with an hour and 12 to go. So we've already had over half an hour of this race gone. Plenty of action so far. So we hope everyone that is tuned in is enjoying the stream so far. Obviously, we've got a round once again in 2 weeks' time, which will be the final round of the championship coming from Suzuka. But meanwhile, we do have that man Hosseini really close behind Angelo. He's only 1 car length back. Will he try a lunge? No, nothing at the moment. Knows it's a long race, so these guys behaving themselves at the moment. But Angelo a little bit wide actually, and he's going to be too wide between the two now. And is the Mercedes going to have the inside? He takes to the sausage curb.
And he passes by, but Trevino on this side again.
And he's on the grass, and he's nearly contact between the two. I think two touches from the two drivers, and Amir's got the inside, but is Angelo going to hold it? He's going all the way around the outside, Angelo, but now he's got the inside for the next one. Is Hosseini going to hold the position around the outside? He does.
Yes.
Great bit of driving. And there's Corturan now, getting the run on the other Aston Martin, and Angelo cuts him off. Rightly so, chops the nose off the other Aston Martin and says, no, that's my position. I'm not losing 2 after losing 1 to Hosseini. So Hosseini is now through, and he's up into 7th position on his recovery from around 10th or 11th place. And Corturan now up the inside into the hairpin, and he's got to run Angelo out of road, and Angelo's lost another position. And that's now put him under threat from the other driver, being Marcucci.
Angelo seems a bit in the trouble with the tires, I think. Maybe he overdrove them to trying to keep Hosseini at bay.
Possibly, because... yeah. It could be temperatures, could be wear. Yeah, it could be either one.
Oh, quite wide, Marcucci. I was noticing. Did you notice, Aiden, how during almost every race of this championship we've got we call it the Trifilio pack, providing us seemingly unlimited occasions of fun. Because
it does always seem to be that blue and orange Aston Martin that is in the mix somewhere there or thereabouts, and there seems to be gaggles of cars all collating around that. Whether he's got a massive magnet strapped somewhere under that car that's gravitating everyone towards him, I'm not entirely sure, but he definitely always seems to be somewhere in the action.
Yeah, we must remember a great race from Angelo at the Paul Ricard. I must admit that I fell in love of the straight line speed of the Aston Martin in the Paul Ricard straight, but Angelo is driving quite well in this championship, being always in the middle part of the pack, always being with a lot of drivers around of similar skill, and always coming up at the end of the race with good recoveries, nice races. So we got a name for the next races, the Trifilio pack. I will say it will be. This will not be the last time we will see it.
Definitely not, and I have just seen this before it came up on the split screen. I did see that Luca Lozio has now got some company for that P4 position, and it's in the form of Francesco Dondi in the Ferrari. It is on the back of him now, and Bilancini as well, not too far adrift, probably around a second and a half, is he? Yeah, 1.8 seconds behind Bilancini in 6th position. So Dondi now going to be becoming the aggressor in this situation, and Lozio the defender. So he's going to have to try and hold this position if he can, because Capoccia again has taken a little bit of time out of Puzzarini, down to 4.3 now. So I'm sure the Lozio knows what the championship permutations are with that. If he gets outscored by Capoccia, it's obviously not going to be doing him any good coming into the final round of the championship in 2 weeks' time. But any position, any points at this stage is brilliant to get. So
yes, it matters. It matters
matters
definitely.
quite a lot. So this could be a significant move in the championship. To be honest, if Dondi can make the move, and as you can see in the rearview mirror on the main screen, he is closing a lot into the final part of the lap. We go and into the hairpin, and actually Dondi's now going to get the inside because he's got to cut back. Lozio's gone wide and he's had a drift on and he's had to catch it, and that's it. I think Dondi's now going to have the inside now through the mine shaft and through the corner they go. He's clipping the grass, but he's through. There we go. And Luca Lozio going to try and send some form of reply to Dondi, but I think that's probably going to be job done there for the Ferrari driver. He's managed to get himself up past him. He got close to Luca Lozio.
Also, Bilancini is coming back on Lozio. Looks like tonight Lozio hasn't the usual flair that he showed up during the first races. It was a classic traction overtake from Dondi, I think, and maybe not the right setup for Lozio, or maybe he doesn't like too much this track. I don't know, but usually Lozio was seeing Lozio at 15 seconds from the front runner. It's quite unusual to see in this championship, and this could be very important championship wise, because there is Capoccia second, and those points are really absolutely mattering for the big final prize.
Yeah, definitely. So he's looking to try and go with Dondi now, and he's getting a little bit wide through a few corners, because we've seen Dondi close that gap down from about, I feel like, I want to say about 3 seconds or so. He's done that over the course of about, I want to say 5 or 6 laps. You can see the Porsche there getting awfully like sideways through into the S's, and he's using every inch of road, but Dondi's still managing to pull away. So I will say as well, the lap that Luca Lozio just did was a 1:44.4 we saw on the graphic at the bottom right, and his fastest was a 1.5 seconds faster than that. So he actually lost, obviously, around a second, I would say, on his normal lap time, and then another 0.5 second battling with Dondi when he went wide and lost the rear of the car nearly, coming out of the hairpin. And to reference that, Capoccia is doing like 1:42s, so they're looking to be like a second or so faster, even these guys here. So Marcucci, he's doing 43.7 last lap, 43.3's best lap, so even these guys are lapping quicker than Luca Lozio. And as you said, Bilancini being only 1.4 behind Luca Lozio. A bit further back is Amir, who's just got the gap just under 3 seconds now, and then Carturan, and then this battle we're watching right now. So Lozio's really going to have to be careful here, because all of these guys are pretty much within striking distance of him still, with obviously just over an hour to go, and pit stops could come at any time, and if the weather does come, it could go one of two ways. Obviously the Porsche should be quite good in the rain, but it's if the rain comes. At the moment we've had 45 minutes near enough into the race, and nothing coming as of yet.
Yes, I think it worth mentioning that especially for the Simpit audience, that it's the first time that it's actually seeing our races, that in the past Lozio he's been able to always get the top 3 on the podium, to getting at least first or second or third or whatever, but he always showed that by the end of the stint, so by the end of the tire life, looks like his driving style it's way more demanding, especially on the rear tires, than the other drivers. So for him it's more crucial than for other drivers to trying to manage the rear tire consumption. And we are actually getting close to the pit stops, because usually during our race lasting 1 hour and 45 minutes, the pit stop window comes at more or less 55 minutes by the end of the race. So clearly it seems that Lozio is suffering from his usual later part of the stint problem of tire consumption.
Yeah, definitely. There you go. He is back on pace a little bit though that lap, because you can see there now at the bottom right, a 1:43.7 I think it was, and a 43.3 being his best, so only 4/10 down on his best lap. But Dondi flying along at the moment, 42.7. That lap time being his best, and that must have been when he was catching up to Lozio. So, and a 42.9 as well, the last lap around for Dondi. So that's why he's pulled a gap now of 1.8. But this man is going to be the man on the move, I think. Lap times wise, 42.7 last lap around for Amir Hosseini. Previous lap was a 42.6, so absolutely flying along the Mercedes. He's going to be catching Bilancini and Lozio, and probably everyone ahead of that as well. Bilancini, best lap of a 42.9, so he's into the 42s as well. So it looks like Lozio, as you say, isn't quite in tune with the Kyalami circuit just as of yet. So
maybe
could well be that it's a new circuit to the game, obviously added in the Intercontinental GT pack from Kunos just a few weeks ago. So maybe he hasn't had as much track time as others around here, or maybe, as you say, it could well be the tyres situation again.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it was looking like in at the Paul Ricard he has solved his tires management problems. I didn't remember if it was Paul Ricard of the previous race.
Yeah, I think it was Paul Ricard. He definitely had better tyre life, but I'm wondering whether the really long straight at Paul Ricard may have helped him cool the tyres going into the final part of the lap, and then they would heat up again, and then the main straight would cool the tyres again, and then you're into the tight twisty stuff again, and then you're back on the really long middle part of the lap straight. So I'm wondering whether that might have helped him, whereas round here it is a full-on onslaught to the tyres. It's constant fast corners, very similar to Silverstone. And obviously Silverstone is another, which was round one, is another track where he struggled with them tyres, especially at the end of a stint. So we're coming kind of to that point now, really. 45 minutes in, well, 1 minute away, and either being Puzzarini, obviously again in the Porsche, but his pace doesn't seem to have dropped off. Best lap of a 42.5, and actually Amir has just done that lap time himself. Last lap time around was a 42.5, and that was his best lap of the race as well. So Puzzarini was on a 42.5 best lap, and his previous lap just now was a 42.7. So he's only dropped 2 tenths of a second off his best. Obviously the fuel's burning down as well, so that's making the cars lighter. So everyone is going a bit faster now because of that, with the fuel tanks probably holding around an hour of fuel, just 1 hour.
More or less, yes.
Yeah, so at the most probably an hour and 10 minutes worth of fuel. So everyone on reasonably low fuel now, but obviously the tyres are wearing, so it depends what state you've got those tyres in. Lozio actually in the pits now. There we go, Lozio pits. So speak of tyres, and there you go, he's in pit lane. So let's see where he feeds out. I would imagine it will probably be the very back of the field, to be honest. I reckon everyone will catch up and pass him, because it's going to be a mandatory change of tyres, I would think, with the race being so long, and obviously fuel as well.
Yeah, it's also interesting to point out that we are starting to see some drivers lighting up the car lights, because it's slightly coming down for the sunset is going down. So I think that, as I mentioned before, the time multiplier, it's quite accelerated. So I think that in 15 minutes time, more or less, it will be almost completely dark, and this will add another layer of challenge for the drivers, because during the night driving the references points are changing, temps are changing, also the same way, then maybe we will have the rain, so everything it's at stake for the race. Even if Puzzarini has slightly pulled away from Capoccia, and also Capoccia has pulled away from Montalbano.
Yeah, Puzzarini has pulled the gap now back up above 5 seconds, 5.5 seconds. Capoccia pulled a massive gap actually. Those two at the front running away with the show, away from Montalbano. Once Capoccia got past him on a couple of laps in, about 5 laps in I would say, maybe 7 laps or so, Montalbano has been sort of struggling as well in his Porsche, being 7 or so seconds back, and obviously Dondi being the man on the move, as well as Bilancini and Orsini. They've all been lapping very well indeed. On board with Orsini on the right hand side of your screen, and Bilancini in the TV cam, so you can see how hard the two drivers are pushing. Amir, as you say, has got one of these very flamboyant driving styles, and I feel like it's just his way of extracting the best from the car. He'd rather the car be loose and sliding so he can extract the best out of it. And he probably helps the Mercedes a bit because he can get the front to turn by rotating it on the rear end. So especially out of slower speed corners like the hairpin here, you'll probably see him put quite a lot of lock on and then correct the car slightly on the exit, which he doesn't actually need to. He gets on the power nice and smoothly, and he's in the slipstream of the Aston ahead, which he knows a fast car, but he's revving the Mercedes to the max as well, not using the extra gear, feeling like he can leave it in 4th gear down there, and then into the penultimate corner. This is the tricky section I was talking about, with the bump on the inside and the track really coming at you fast on the left hand side on the exit, and heavy braking into the final corner. And actually the Aston's gone wide here, so that's going to give the Mercedes a really good run and a good chance down into turn 1. With 56 minutes to go, Amir Hosseini looking to try and get that P5 as the Aston Martin defends massively on the inside, and he's going to send it down the outside, the side-by-side right now, and they nearly touch, and there's very nearly contact, and Amir trying to get the inside for the next one, but cannot. He's cut off by Bilancini.
Having a guy like Hosseini on your bumper, I think it can unsettle pretty every driver, from the most talented to the humble mid-packer, I think. But look how aggressive it is, and is confident in late braking without banging the back of the car in front. Beautiful driving with him, very aggressive.
Yeah, very, as we were saying about his driving style, it is what you would call an aggressive driving style, and it's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, as long as you can avoid contact and avoid tagging the other guy around, then there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And he's got his lights ablaze, as we said. The nighttime will be rolling in shortly, and the Aston has now flicked their lights on. The following Aston of Car Touran hasn't yet decided that he needs his lights. It's probably more in Hosseini's case to try and distract Bilancini more than anything, because he's got the full-on fog lights ablaze on the Mercedes to try and distract him and fill the mirror. And he's actually going to have a look down into turn 1. No, I think he pits. I think the Aston Martin pits. Yep. Yes, he does. Bilancini dived into the pit lane right across the front of Hosseini and nearly collected both of them.
Risky move.
Very risky, yeah, as you say. Very, very risky, but he felt like he needed to pit on that exact moment, so indeed did go ahead and do that. We got Jamfrest here coming through the final sector now.
I think
he's actually going to dive in the pits now or not. No.
It was also mentioned in Car Touran, quite nice race. He's been able to stay with the mid-pack, let's say mid-pack, with the front running pack of Trifilio, Bilancini, and Dondi. That while Dondi has escaped a bit and is racing quite well, absolutely. I remember he's usually in this range of position. He's doing a nice championship. Seems not completely in challenging for the title, but it's quite a solid driver nonetheless.
Yeah, definitely, and we've actually had a stop-go penalty, 30-second stop-go for Bloody Colombo. Or I would imagine that's a speeding penalty in pit lane. And if you look at that, look at the timing sheets, you've got Luca Lozio with 3/10 gap to Bilancini after Bilancini's pit stop. So Bilancini being the big gainer actually in that. He was around 2 or probably more seconds behind Lozio. He was catching, if you remember.
Yes.
Before Lozio pitted. And actually now it has rectified itself, so it is now 5.4 seconds. So Lozio has now been able to get those, I imagine, fresh tyres. And Montalbano's round. Is that Montalbano?
No, I think it was Trifiglio. Trifiglio spun at the last corner. At the last corner, yes. No, it was Montalbano.
Yeah,
no, it was
Montalbano.
Montalbano.
Not sure how Montalbano's ended up down there with Angelo anyway. Angelo's just gone through shot in 6th position, but Montalbano was ended up in that. He was 3rd place. I wonder whether he might have had contact with Dondi instead.
Could be.
There you go. He's off the track at turn 1. I reckon that's the case. You know, I think Dondi may well have had contact with him. We'll have to wait and see if we get a replay actually. On that one,
let's ask the director for a replay because
Dondi is now 15 seconds behind Capoccia, and I don't think that was the case before. So
no,
he's probably been around as well.
It was more or less 5 seconds, I think, from between them. Now, actually, we're seeing a replay of the start. Yeah. I think it's Matteo Giacomo, it's our race director, looking for the right replay of what happened between Montalbano and Dondi, or maybe it has been a simple error by Montalbano.
Possibly, yeah.
Alone.
All I saw when we cut to it was that he was in the middle of the track with an awful lot of damage spinning around. So whether he's now dived in pit lane.
But I saw during the live, I saw him spanning in front of I think it wasn't Dondi, but it was maybe I think it was Carturan.
Carturan is directly ahead of Hossini.
So probably something happened between him and Dondi or he has made a mistake alone, and then again he has done another mistake in front of Carturan.
This looks to be it, I would think.
Yeah.
Comes through the final corner. Yeah, just loops it on his own. Just loops the car on his own, and he's stranded in the middle of the road. And then I think we're going to see, there's Dondi. Dondi goes through and reverses into the racing line.
He got
hit him.
Yep.
That is how Carturan got past Hossini, and now Hossini has got back past Carturan by the looks of it. But
bad mistake
briefly,
by Montalbano.
Yeah, Carturan was ahead of Hossini, and that's why, because Hossini had to go to the right-hand side. I feel like he shouldn't have reversed across the racing line quite there. And if he did reverse like he did, he should have reversed completely off the track rather than stopping right on the exit of the corner on the racing line, which is why the Mercedes of Hossini ended up nearly full-on collecting him, but luckily only clipped him. There's a bit of damage, as you can see, to the front end of that Mercedes, but nothing too bad actually. So Hossini getting away with one there, I think.
I think that is perfect for him because I think he's about to stop, and he will take advantage of the stop for repairing all the contacts that he had. If the repair rate speed it's related to, it's less than the changing tires and refuel. I don't know exactly how the repairs are taking for the GT3 cars, but for just for the bumpers, I think that maybe they could be done without losing too much time.
I feel like the way that Assetto Corsa pit stops go. So here we go. Actually, we're going to see the move. There you go. So that's Hossini getting back past Carturan. Then Carturan hitting the sausage curve on the inside of the penultimate corner, and that then let Hossini back through on the inside. So Puzzarini, our race leader, is in the pit lane. We have obviously seen Bilancini pit. He's come out 6 seconds behind Luca Lozio, who's in position.
Yeah, everybody's stopping by now.
I don't know if Montalbano's pitted yet or not, but here comes Puzzarini, and he's going to rejoin, probably actually in 4th position, which is brilliant. Yes, he will. There's Jamfresh coming through shot as well, which will be for race position, but I don't think Jamfresh will fight him too hard because he knows that Puzzarini will potentially be on fresh rubber, and obviously the net race leader anyway. So it's going to be a case of where does Hossini come out in all of this as well, because we've got Capoccia who's already pitted as well then, because he's behind Puzzarini by around, I want to say, so if there is, so Puzzarini's a second ahead of Janfrest and Capoccia is 5.5 seconds behind Puzzarini. So Puzzarini has gained a second on Capoccia in all of them pit stops.
Drive through for Amato in the meantime.
What's that, sorry? Fight for Amato, did you say?
Drive through.
Oh, a drive-through. Yeah, drive-through for Amato, yeah. So, and a drive-through for Montalbano. Montalbano's been given a drive-through. I wonder whether that might be from race direction.
Yeah,
for a
because
rejoin.
Clearly the race stewards are unimpressed with. I think they will be unimpressed with the way Montalbano rejoined, but maybe he has done. It could be related to some cuts, or something else.
Could well be, yeah. Because to anyone that isn't familiar with watching Assetto Corsa Competizione racing, you do get warnings for track limits, and you only get 3 warnings. On your 4th warning, you will receive a drive-through penalty.
Quite harsh.
Quite harsh, but it is the same for everyone. So I don't mind it being harsh as long as it is consistent between everyone. So, which I'm very impressed that Assetto Corsa can do that. It is very consistent. So
Dondi Ossini in the pits.
Yeah, so Dondi and Hossini are still in pit lane. Luca Lozio's gone by. Luca Lozio, I don't know how he's managed to find so much time, but he has, because I feel like did Dondi not overtake Lozio?
I don't know.
Before? I feel like he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, he was in front.
Yes, he was. Yeah, so maybe Lozio hasn't taken tyres. Maybe. I'm only throwing that out there because
I didn't look at the time. I didn't mind at the time that he stayed in the pits, honestly. But I'm assuming that he's changed the tires nonetheless.
Or has he not taken as much fuel then? Possibly, because he's been. I don't know if he's been that quick since he's come out of the pits, because he's still around 15 seconds from Capoccia, which we're watching now, who's about 5 seconds behind Puzzarini. Obviously, Janfrest is running in P3 there, but he's yet to pit, and Corteran's yet to pit. Tozzato yet to pit as well. Then we've got pretty much the normal service resumed, with Bilancini coming out 5.5 behind Lozio. Hossini's well down, actually. Hossini and Dondi seem like they've lost a heap full of time. Has Angelo pitted yet as well?
No,
I don't think he has.
No, he should have, because otherwise we should have found him
higher
in
up,
front of
potentially. Yeah, so it looks like Hossini and Dondi. I'm reckoning Hossini may have repaired his damage, but Dondi's lost heaps and heaps of time to Lozio. The gap now being about 23 seconds, and I'm sure that we saw Dondi pass Lozio on track before the pit stops even started. So
maybe we lost
23 seconds is madness.
Maybe we lost some Dondi mistake before entering the pits. Maybe.
Quite possibly. Yeah, could well be something like that. But we can only go off what we've got at the moment, and that's Puzzarini, the net leader of the race. We're on board here with Corteran coming down towards the end of the lap, so he may well dive in the pits this time around. But Puzzarini is going to be coming under pressure, I think, shortly, because if you look at that last lap time of Capoccia, 1:41.7 for Capoccia in the Ferrari. He's got Janfrest there in the white and red Ferrari, but just ahead of that is the green and black Porsche. Just about flashed through, shot just then. You should see him on the exit of this corner. There he is, at the bottom, going through the mine shaft. And the gap being around 4 seconds now, so that was about 5.5. Actually, no, sorry, 6.5 when they came out of the pit lane. And Capoccia's been on it since that moment.
Yeah, it's losing vital time in the battle with Puzzarini, but I think that this is the big chance tonight. There it goes, Janfrest on the pits. But tonight is the big chance for Capoccia to get vital points for the championship on Lozio, because if Capoccia wins, there is a big prize at stake for him in terms of points, and it's vital for him to try to win this one. Yeah,
100%. With the gap now being 4.1 with Gianfres pitting and getting out of the way of the battle. So we have got just 4 seconds between the leaders, with still just under 45 minutes remaining. So plenty of time still, and potentially rain on the horizon. As Carturan exits the pits, he's going to come out ahead of
Trifilio.
behind Bilancini and ahead of Trafilio, who he was battling with on track. Let's see if we can see.
Also, Luca Colombo didn't stop it yet, but I think Angelo stopped it because otherwise he would have been in front. So we missed Trifilio pit, but by now almost everyone stopped except I think for Colombo. Yes, what happened to Dondi and Oseni? We could understand that because he had clearly some damage to repair, but I don't know what happened honestly on Dondi.
Not sure at all. Hopefully we will get a replay at some point later on, maybe.
Look at the lightning. Look at the lightning has really dimmed down. Maybe this is not just from the night coming, but look also at the clouds from distance.
Yeah, the clouds definitely looking rather menacing. And if you look last time around, Capoccia with another 41, a 41.8. Let's see what he can do this time around. He's going to be awfully close now. 2.8 seconds is the gap between the two leaders. And Capoccia is absolutely taking chunks out of Puzzarini at the front of the field in the Ferrari. Obviously behaving better in this weather condition, although he does go a bit wide there.
Big pride. There it goes.
But there we go. Puzzarini, last lap around, 42.1. Capoccia was in the 41.6 fastest lap of the race for Capoccia. So he was 1.3 seconds faster. And as you can see there, the clouds looking awfully menacing. So we could well see some drops of rain in a minute and the nighttime falling as well, which is going to throw a real spanner in the works for these drivers.
Devastating use of the fresh rubber from Capoccia, isn't it?
I think he's doing the right thing, to be completely honest, as well, because if the rain does come, there goes the lights from Puzzarini. He's flicked his lights on for us now, so he's obviously feeling like it's getting a bit darker. But yeah, I feel like if he uses the tyres up now, use the tyre life before you have to possibly pit for wet tyres. Definitely the right call from Capoccia, but we've got a battle as well with Montalbano in the Strecken Porsche against, I believe it's Marcucci. Yes, it is, 10th and 11th place. So that battle also unfolding. Again, the Ferrari driver looking like the more pacey of the two. It's again Porsche, Ferrari at the moment, but the Ferrari's definitely coming to life at the middle part of this race. 2.3 seconds now. Let's see what the gap is across the line for
1.9.
1.9, yes. So very, very quick laps coming in from Capoccia. And I think that's Hossini. Yeah, Hossini and Dondi. And is that Monaco? No, Colombo. Colombo in a battle as well here. So Hossini down the inside of Dondi. Yes, he is. And he's actually going to have the inside now for the penultimate corner. Is he going to dare stay on the inside? He is.
Oh, on the grass.
Ferrari's on the grass.
Dondi losing it. No, they touch it with Montalbano, I think.
No, Colombo that is in the other Porsche. And he's giving him the flash. If you look, you can see the Porsche driver not happy with the Ferrari there because he was flashing his lights. Rightly so, though, because Dondi came back on the circuit after being on the grass and squeezed the Porsche all the way over. Potentially didn't even know he was there. He was only battling Hossini in his mind, but he squeezed the Porsche out of the way. And unfortunately for Colombo, he has lost 2 positions behind these guys. But he'll try and hang with them and try and catch up to Trafilio, who's
Capoccia, look at Capoccia. Look at Capoccia gap. He's catching him.
Yeah, 9/10 of a second is the gap. He's right there.
You want to catch him before the rain.
Great to have this 2-camera system as well, so we can actually see 2 battles going on at once. As you can see, Colombo has now dropped a little bit further away, but Dondi and Hossini are going to try and another charge through the field. We've got 5.6 seconds to close down to Trafilio. He's got around 5 seconds to Carturan, so Angelo being the man pretty much in no man's land at the moment, along with kind of Car2Ran as well, being 8.3 behind, and then Bilancini being about 7 or so behind Lozio, and Lozio about 17 behind the lead pair, which is now right together. You've got 0.7 of a second splitting Puzzarini and Capoccia. I wonder how hard Capoccia's going to fight for this one, because you can see the clouds rolling in. He knows he's close enough to make a move, but I feel like if he gets a half a chance, he'll take it, because he knows he's faster and he can potentially pull a gap before the rain comes, if the rain comes, that is.
Maybe this is related. The difference in performance between Capoccia and Puzzarini maybe could be related to the topic we were discussing before about tires pressures. If
he's very close here into the hairpin, he's going down the inside. He's going to take the lead of the race with 40 minutes to go roughly, and the Ferrari takes the lead. What a move! Puzzarini didn't have any answer there. If he defended, I think Capoccia probably had the amount of grip to actually go all the way around the outside of the hairpin, but he didn't need to. He took the inside, and he's now going to hopefully pull away from Puzzarini, I would think. He's going to...
He seems on a different league right now.
He really does, yeah. Last lap was a little bit slower, but still a 42.0, so flying along. Let's see what this lap is with the pass. I would imagine it's probably quite similar. He didn't seem to lose a lot of time at all. Puzzarini's got to try and go with him, I would think, here. Have a look, 42.4, so yeah, a little bit slower.
We lost it, but I think that Montalbano has retired. Yeah, Montalbano has retired. He's not anymore
he's not in the timing sheets anymore.
A classic retirement, I think, for maybe nervous breakdown by the mistake, then the penalty, and not nice for a driver that has run so well during this race. He clearly has thrown it away to the benefit of Lozio, but also of Bilancini, Car2Ran and Trifilio that are actually in 3rd, 5th and 6th position, and Dosseni is also 7th, slowly catching back Trifilio. I think that will be in for another round of fun between the Osseni and Trifilio in maybe 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah. They're closing the gap down, but actually Dondi has made a mistake somewhere, because he is now 5 seconds behind Orsini. He was only a couple of car lengths. When they both got past Colombo, they were only a couple of car lengths apart, but now it looks as if Orsini's pulled a big gap and he's catching Angelo. Hand over fist, to be honest with you. We might see him in the back and shot into this next corner, possibly. Maybe not quite. Maybe here we will. So there's Angelo, and then in the background there's the Mercedes. So not a big gap whatsoever. And Puzzarini's dropped to 1.6 seconds behind Capoccia at the moment. But I think the big gainer in all of this, especially in terms of the championship, is definitely Lozio, with Dondi having such a long pit stop for whatever reason, and Hossini as well having a long pit stop, and also Bilancini, to be fair. Bilancini was quite close to making inroads into Lozio, and he's 8.4 seconds behind him in 4th place, so the pit stop's definitely shaking stuff up there, and giving Lozio probably a nice opportunity at getting a podium if the rain doesn't come, but it's gone very, very dark now. Whether that be more clouds rolling in, or whether it is just the sun setting even further.
Yeah, I must admit that Assetto Corsa Competizione in night condition, it's absolutely stunning to see in motion. Look at the blades of the lights, and the game is really, really absolutely wonderful to look from the outside in this condition.
Yeah, when the cars have got the lights ablaze, and the surrounding area as well have lights, obviously lighting up different areas of the circuit, and around here as well you can actually see the city as well as you come over the top of the circuit up near the hairpin, which we'll be at in a few corners time. You can see all of the lights of the city as you come down the hill, so quite a picturesque circuit at night time around here, and no signs of rain just yet, but we'll see if it does roll in sooner rather than later. Hossini taking more chunks of time out of Trafilio. and Dondi actually dropping back from Hosseini. So I feel like it is just Hosseini's pace is proving too much for Dondi at the moment, because he's pulled away now to 6.4 seconds after only passing him a handful of laps ago.
Now it's so haunting, looking at how dark it is, the track. Now you can clearly get used from the indicators on the windscreen telling the name of the driver, because otherwise it becomes quite difficult also to understand which kind of car it is from distance, at least.
Yeah, definitely. In the longer shots, it is quite hard to see. But as you can see, the attention to detail on this game is absolutely phenomenal. As you can see on the Aston Martin, and Trafilio's off at turn 1.
Bad
Speaking
mistake.
of an Aston Martin, he's all the way off into the gravel at turn 1. Must have had some problem with his brakes there, but that's handed the position to Hosseini, who was closing him down.
Maybe also a loss of reference point with all of this dark.
Quite possibly.
Could be a classical error of missing the brake point, because during night time it almost completely changes the way that you perceive your reference points.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it could be any number of things, to be honest. But he's back going again now, and he's not lapping too badly, to be honest, lap time wise. And we're on board here with Colombo in the Porsche. Looking back to Helicamp needs, because he is only half a second behind Marcucci. So I'm going to try and get back past, but you can see, as I was saying before, the trip into the gravel for Angelo, it's the attention to detail on this game is absolutely brilliant, because you can see the exhaust pipes glowing. If you look on the internal camera here, yeah, all the display dash lit up, and obviously the onboard light as well for the driver to use, the blue onboard light. And
just think how it could be this game from using a visor. It would be absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, if you could pick a different visor for obviously night and day running, that would be brilliant. That would be one thing as well. I think also possibly for the longer endurance races, to have some form of effect where you could do a windscreen tear off in the pit stops. That would be quite brilliant to add as well at some point, because the pit stop animations are brilliant as well, with the tyres being changed. Obviously you get 2 engineers per wheel at any one time, so you can you only have 2 guys working on the car and 1 fueling the car at any one time. So that's if you are taking fuel, that is, obviously, or tyres. But yeah, very, very good animations in the pit stop, so I wouldn't really pass them adding some form of guy tearing a windshield tear off in the pit stops as well. Because in these length races, 1 hour 45, you will get a lot of tyre marbles flicked up into the windshield, as well as all sorts of different other dirt and grime,
maybe also
as well.
Insects and things like that. At the moment, the race is a bit the gap it's as extended between almost all the drivers. There's nobody in direct contact. I think the only Puzzarini and Capoccia are the closest one, along with Colombo and Marcucci.
Yeah, it actually looks like Puzzarini's probably picked up his pace a little bit, actually, because Capoccia's not quite pulled away like I thought he probably would. He got past and was about 1.4 ahead, and he's now only 1.9, so you can see Puzzarini keep flashing through the shot in the back picture as well.
I'm also starting to think about what will be happening. It's likely that I'm gloriously wrong about that, but it could be that Capoccia, knowing that it will be, or guessing, let's say that it will be a high chance of heavy rain by the end of the race, so forcing him to stop for a set of wet tires, he intentionally loaded less fuel to give him advantage on Puzzarini. It will be a masterstroke. because it's too big, the speed difference between the first stint of the race and the second. The case is that or Capoccia literally sandbagged for the first half of the race, but in the first part of the second stint, he was literally chunking away 1 second from Puzzarini.
It could well be that he wanted to get the lead of the race, and then potentially what he might be doing now is saving tyres and trying to possibly think now, is the rain even going to come with only 28 minutes to go? As we see Luca Lozio going down into turn 1.
It's a big gamble.
It is a big gamble, yeah. If the rain does come and you've still got tyre life left, you've kind of messed up in the sense that you haven't extracted the best from your car when you had the opportunity to. Whereas if you burn up your tyres and push really hard at the beginning of a stint and then the rain never comes, obviously at the end, when the rain does eventually come, and it'll just be kind of a damp track, what you might class as a damp track.
Lozio, big lag, I think. Lozio is flying around.
It looks like everyone's actually had the same. Lost connection to server.
Lost connection. Maybe it's the race direction. So
actually just race direction. So I feel like everyone will probably be still okay. But yeah, Lozio is not flying around Mars somewhere. I think he went to space for a moment or two there. A little bit of lag, but we'll get the footage back shortly. I would think.
We are waiting. There it goes.
There we go. We're actually inside the safety car right now. Not needed, obviously, as of yet, but yeah. So
no, nothing changed.
Lozio, no, nothing changed. He is still P3.
Great reaction time from our race director Matteo Sorgiacomo. Kudos to him.
Yeah, very, very quick. He got that back. A massive bit of backfire from the Ferrari there, but now he is now stretching his legs. If you look, he's only 4/10 off his best, and he's now 3 seconds ahead of Puzzarini. So definitely pulling the gap as we expected. But as I was saying about the tyres, that if you burn up your tyres too early at the start of a stint when you are expecting rain, say the last 15 minutes was rain, you probably wouldn't have to come in for wet tyres depending on how heavy the rain falls. However, if you've then burnt your rubber up straight away in the first sort of half an hour of your stint, and then you're on old tyres in damp conditions, can you imagine how hard that must be for any driver, especially as well when you've got no fuel on board the car, because you've potentially burnt the fuel off nicely. You're getting to the end of the race on that one tank, or what's left of the tank, should I say, and you're going to have a light car that's going to be awfully lively on old tyres in damp conditions. And I don't think anyone would like that combination. And if they then have to pit and the rivals don't, so say Puzzarini has better tyre life than Capoccia and doesn't have to pit, then you're not going to cost yourself 20-30 seconds, maybe even more at certain circuits, and that could be the difference between winning a race and potentially being outside the top 10 in such a competitive field. If you look at the gaps, I would say the top 10 are probably all within 30 seconds, let's say.
40
around
seconds.
that. Yeah, 30 or 40 seconds or so. So you could quite easily drop from the race lead to pretty much the mid-pack at any one stage. So it's such a balancing act in these longer races. Sprint races, obviously, it's very much just do or die. You've got that one set of tyres and one tank of fuel to get you to the end of the race. Whereas these races definitely have more to them than normal sprint races, from what I've seen before. So very interesting strategies.
I've asked some updates to our weather forecast service. Let's see if the forecast is changing about what will happen during the last part of the race. 70% was the percentage that we got more or less 45 minutes ago. We are 25 minutes until the end of the race, so
if I remember rightly, at Silverstone, the rain came up with around 15 minutes to go, but it didn't fall heavy enough for anyone to warrant pitting. So could be a kind of similar story here, but we are getting some battles now to start forming up. We've got Carturan on the back of Bilancini nearly. He's 1.2 seconds behind. And then we've obviously got this battle here, which is Angelo Trafilio and Dondi. So Dondi now getting his act together again in the Ferrari and managing to close down the Aston Martin driver. Puzzarini still dropping back from Capoccia just a bit, but I mean his best lap was a 42.2, so only 4/10 off his best. But if you compare that to the best of Capoccia, Capoccia being a 41.6, I believe it was, being his fastest lap of the race, so quite a bit slower. He's now nearly 4 seconds back, is Puzzarini.
I'm looking. I've asked for updates, still no updates, but I think they will come in a few seconds. And I think that if this is the situation, let me try to run a bit of math about the championship. If the race will end his way, I think that no, this is in classification. Let me check.
Well, the gap between Capoccia and Luca Lozio was 8 points. So
Yeah, I
not
think
between...
that if I'm not wrong, the difference in points between the first and the second and the third is the first gains 50 points, the second one gets 45 points, while the third one gets 42 points. So they're basically 8-point difference, and this could mean that they will end at the same points for the last race.
Going into the final round, it'd be level on points. Wow, that will be...
Or quite close. I'm not sure about the point distribution between the first, the second, and the third, but should be that way on esportsseries.net, because the point calculation, the point award system is basically the same for all the championships.
Yeah, so it could be very, very tight between the top two. Obviously, Montalbano, being the man that was in third place in the standings, is going to go tumbling down the order with a DNF here tonight. But unfortunate for him. But at the moment,
this DNF from Montalbano opens for Carturan clearly for the third spot. Absolutely.
Yes. So Carturan, obviously, he's actually only a second now behind Bilancini in his fellow Aston Martin. So Carturan looking to actually try and claim 4th position if he can instead. So we'll see if Carturan, if we do get that battle on screen or not. But currently watching Luca Lozio, who's 20 seconds at the moment behind the lead cars, which is Puzzarini and Capoccia, who's actually 25 seconds behind Capoccia, who's now 5 seconds ahead of Puzzarini. But here's the battle I was talking about: Carturan versus Bilancini, the battle of the Aston Martins. And we've also got Amir Hosseini in 6th position, that is 4.4 behind this battle. So if these two guys battle quite hard and start fighting for the position, then potentially the man on the bottom right of your screen, who we're on board with, could well be catching them. I think you can just about see the two Aston Martins ahead at certain parts of the track. Down some of the straights, he'll be able to see them because he's only 4.5 back. You might see them now as he comes through the air. There you go. So they're just at the bottom of the hill there as we flash through there now. So he is catching, definitely 4.1 seconds now. And I think if these have any kind of battle, Hosseini will be on them with 20 minutes left to run. No sign of the rain yet. There's no drops on the camera lens as of yet. Or I say that, there might actually be a few drops. I'm not entirely sure. It might just be the glare of the lights a little bit, to be honest, rather than droplets of rain.
Doesn't seem so to me, but maybe.
No, it doesn't quite look like there is, actually. I think it was just the dirt and grime on the lens of the camera, to be honest, more than anything, with the obviously the lights being quite glary. But battle at the front has pretty much simmered down to 6 seconds now, so this is really the battle where this is obviously going to be championship defining moments here, really, if Carturan can get past Bilancini, and he is close here as they come through Sunset Bend and into the clubhouse corner, and not quite going through there, and then they're going to come into the S's here now. So quite drastic high curbs here through the S's, through the left and then the right. Takes a bit of curve, just Corturan as they drive up the hill now, and then into the strange hairpin. It's a bit of a kink right before you go left. Pretty much straight line the braking zone, as you'd expect to do in these race cars. And he's going to try and get the run through the mine shaft in to what they call the Crocodiles. It's a really strange name for
funny names. Funny names.
Very funny name. And he is close here, and then up to the penultimate corner. Both of them avoiding the sausage curve on the inside, a little bit wide from Corturan, pushing on hard. He's awfully close into the final corner, and is he going to try and get the run on the exit? I think he is. The lights flash on from Bilancini briefly, and then off again, and he moves over to the left-hand side of the track, where Corturan is trying to pick up a toe if he can. Bilancini doesn't see the need to defend quite there. He does at the latter part of the braking point, although that might just be his line through turn 1. And if you look 3.1 seconds, just in the back of your picture on the right hand side, you can see the lights of Hossini, the Mercedes, just flashing into shot every now and then. So he is wanting these guys to battle if he can to try and help him claim a top 4 spot.
Which wouldn't be bad.
Definitely wouldn't be bad after some of the issues we've seen him having a bit of a torrid time at the beginning, dropping down the field. Then he made some positions back up again. Then he was back down in 10th position, and then he fought his way back through. And then after a bad pit stop, ended up fighting his way through as well. Although we think the bad pit stop was probably down to some damage he sustained from Montalbano being parked in the road. So after he nearly collected him.
That was his second defining race moment after what happened at the start of the race. I think that without the mistakes, the mishaps, the crashes that he had, maybe Hosseini could have been easily in the top 3, maybe top 4.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah, because he's on for a top 4 potentially now, because he is catching these, like I say, 2.2 seconds now the gap, and Bilancini still holding off Corturan, still line astern to Aston Martins. Got to come under threat in a second from Hossini, and Dondi now as well is on the back of Trafilio, as we said. Might be the case earlier, so hopefully get a shot of that soon as well. He's only half a second behind the Aston Martin, 0.3 of a second behind the Aston Martin now, as they flash across the line, I think they are. But we'll deal with this battle at the moment.
Looks like we've been wrong about the rain. The race is not over yet, but for the most part we had a dry race. So it looks like that someone at the forecast service will be fired soon, likely.
Potentially, yeah, with a 70% chance of rain and not seeing a single drop.
Here in Italy, happens always. They are always getting the wrong forecast, and you see people changing every time because likely they has been fired, and righteously so, I would say.
So you can see on the bottom right of your picture that is Angelo against Dondi for 7th position. And then this battle on the top main screen of broadcast is Bilancini in 4th place, Corturan, who you can see we're riding with, and then Hossini in the Mercedes, just a little bit further back, and he's right with them now, 1.4 seconds with 14 minutes to go. We've got Dondi potentially going to try and move now into the next right-hander. Nothing as of yet. Angelo driving a great race at the moment from starting 11th up in 7th position. If anything happens ahead, obviously he'll be there to pick up the pieces if he can.
Shane is coming. It will be part of. Will be at the party in 1 lap time, I think. Also because Corturan and Bilancini are messing up with themselves. Bilancini doing defensive lines and losing time also to Corturan, all to the benefit of Amir.
Yeah,
Solid
definitely.
race. You can definitely see the talent that is in this Iranian driver.
Definitely, he's one of them drivers that, like we said earlier, has got quite a bit of aggression in his driving style, but it definitely works for him. If you looked at the last lap, it was at 42.2, and he's very close here now to the back of
Wide
Turan,
Turan.
who's had an issue. He's gone a bit wide. He asked him what he's thinking about an inside line manoeuvre. Is Hosseini, but nothing quite as of yet. See if we can get a good exit. And there you go, you can see the city as you come dropping down the hill. Absolutely brilliant looking circuit. And there's Dondi going past Angelo into the hairpin. Is this? I think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, up the hill. Yeah, he's managed to go around the outside, Dondi, in the Ferrari, and he's taken the position away and claimed that 7th place away from Angelo now.
Beautiful.
A brilliant bit of outbraking manoeuvre there on the outside line, obviously, but the Ferrari being brilliant on the brakes. And meanwhile, Hosseini is now all over the back of Corti-Ran. He hasn't managed to get the job done on Bilancini. Bilancini's got a bit of breathing room, and that's made him under threat from Hosseini. And Hosseini's going for the double switchback, and he's managed to go to the inside line, and he's sent the dummy on him, and he's got the job done. Absolutely brilliant move from Amir Hosseini.
This is amazing, guys.
What a brilliant
Look at
move.
that. I'm
from
begging the race director for a rebate because you have to see that to believe it.
Shame we
Beautiful
didn't have the
dummy.
onboard there, because it would have been nice to see his onboard wheel at the bottom right potentially, as well as the move. But nevertheless, what a brilliant move from Amir Hosseini, managing to send the dummy on Corti-Ran. Corti-Ran almost allowed that on himself a little bit. He did leave room, so fair play to Corti-Ran as well in the Aston Martin. Great bit of driving from both there.
Amazing move.
But Amir
Amazing.
now up into 5th position, and he's now going to try and get past Bilancini as well. Let's see if he can do the same to him as what he's done to his fellow Aston Martin driver, Corti-Ran. Corti-Ran still
Amazing
hanging with Hosseini. I take it you like that one, did you?
Yeah. I'm still thinking of what we've just witnessed, because doing such a move, it's so dangerous. It requires so much confidence in your driving skills. Beautiful. I think it may be the better overtake that we saw during the World Championship.
Probably, yeah. I would say it's probably right up there with one of the top draw moves that we've seen. And he's close now as well to Bilancini. Probably not close enough to try a switchback dummy, I wouldn't think. To be honest, he might do. You never know. It's Amir. He can pull moves from anywhere, really. I think he's probably going to be wise about it, though. He knows 4th place is on the cards here. Probably not any higher than that, unfortunately. But a podium's a bit far out of reach for him at the moment. But anything can happen still with 10 minutes to go. And obviously, the chance of rain, but it's got to come down in bucket loads if these guys are going to be diving in the pits at all in the next 10 minutes. But Hosseini is the man on the move. We've already seen the move from Dondi, and then a brilliant move from Amir himself. You can see just how hard he's pushing the Mercedes every single time. He's right to the edge, the extremity of the track, and he's all over the curbs and using bits of grass as well and dirt and all sorts to try and get the Mercedes round here as quickly as he possibly can. We've got the rear-facing camera here, and is he going to try and move into the hairpin? No, he thinks better of it.
He's going to try. In putting the front end of that Mercedes is amazing.
Yeah, he's really got that car set up well for his style. As we said, it's a front engine car, so normally quite understeery, but it means that he can get it rotated on the rear and try and get the spin the rear wheels slightly in the corner to get a bit of slip angle to get the front to turn through the corner. He's thinking about a move down into the last corner. It doesn't. Thinks better of it, and he's now back on the racing line. He's going to have an excellent run here, and he's probably going to try a similar move as he's in the wall nearly as he's going past Bilancini, and he's actually ahead before they even get to turn 1. And he's having to defend now. He's having to defend. He nearly pushes Bilancini on the grass, and Bilancini switches to the outside. Absolutely brilliant bit of driving from the two.
This guy, it's a monster.
Bilancini did not like that at all. Bilancini tried to squeeze Hossini into the wall, into the pit wall on the outside, it looked like, and then Amir had already got alongside and passed him. He jinked to the inside to defend, and Bilancini had nowhere to go but down the outside, and he thinks about an inside move, but Hossini's got the job done. Absolute brilliant bit of driving. Now he's just got to hang on to it for another 8.5 minutes.
Stunning. Usually we are using when we are doing the trailer for the next season, we are using the footage from the races of the previous season, and tonight Hossini is giving me a lot of quite interesting material, I would say.
Here we go, there's the move, Luke. So he was actually just about able to squeeze through, and then here we go, he defends on the inside and then thinks about going back to the outside, which he doesn't, and then that has to leave Bilancini to go around the outside, who can't get the job done, unfortunately for him. But he's now got
he's pulling away
once again for company. So just bear that in mind, and we've got just over 7 minutes to go. And Kapoccia now has an 8.6 second lead, very comfortable at the front for him. Touch wood, we don't drop a commentator's curse on him, but he does look quite confident and ready to take the checker flag in 7.5 minutes time.
Great work by Hossini, but seems that race we are a bit the rain it's a bit late for us, so dry race.
Unfortunately, yeah, I was hoping to see some rain, but I think the drivers will breathe a sigh of relief, because this track is hard enough to learn in the daytime, never mind throwing the nighttime at them as well, and then rain as well. So I think they'll be rather happy that no water has fallen from the sky and caused mayhem potentially on this race. We might see some at Suzuka, because I don't think we've had like a proper wet race or anything as of yet.
Until now, not.
Like we spoke about earlier, Silverstone was the only one where we actually saw rain, and that came far too late for anyone to warrant pitting for wet tyres, so everyone just stayed out to the end of the race and obviously dropped lap time, but didn't bother taking new tyres. So very, very good race so far, very entertaining race so far.
Yeah.
I would say plenty of action all the way through, pretty much in the midfield being the main action points. I think the pit stops definitely spread things out a little bit more, but then everyone sort of concertinaed back up again. And now, with only 6 minutes to go, you'd feel like Kapoccia is potentially he's definitely going to close the championship gap down to Luca Lozio, as we've just flicked to him now. Definitely got to close the gap to him in the championship, possibly even take the lead of the championship. We're not quite sure of what the permutations will be, but they will definitely
Let me check
a few
about the points
between these guys going into the final round in 2 weeks' time at Suzuka. So all still to play for those top positions, and we think that Cortiran will also inherit, as we flick to him now. I think he will also inherit third place in the standings as well.
Let me check the championship rules. I could find there the points awarded. Let's see. I should find there here. So, locations. There it goes. Yes, I was right. The winner gets 50 points, while the second one gets 45 points, and the third one gets 42 points, while the fourth 40, then 38, 36, 34, 32, 30, 28, and so on. So, if things are staying like this, Kapoccia and Lozio will present themselves at the start of the last race with the same points. Beautiful.
Yeah, very, very good indeed for us lot at home and watching along, because this championship is going to go down to the wire. As long as Kapoccia can hang on to this race victory, you have to say he's driven really, really well tonight. He's managed to get himself up into the lead. Obviously, he wasn't quite on pace at the very, very beginning. He lost a place to Montalbano initially, but then got that place back a few laps into the race, and then from there, he kind of held station with Puzzarini's lap times, and then after the pit stop, absolutely took leaps and bounds out of Puzzarini's gap to the lead, and then passed him, and then pulled away to nearly 10 seconds now. So he's got a back marker to deal with here, who I think is probably Colombo. Is it? No, it isn't.
Maybe
yes.
Vladi Colombo.
Vladi Colombo.
No, Luca
sorry,
Colombo.
Luca Colombo, yes. In the Porsche, I think that is. So that's 10th position being lapped right there. So only a few more laps to navigate, but his pace has been really, really brilliant tonight. The 494 Ferrari driver. Into the final corner he goes. And then across the line to start yet another lap. We should finish above 60 laps, I would imagine. There's probably 3 laps to go, and he starts.
Yes.
Finishes lap 59, sorry, and starts lap 60 right now. So, plenty of laps under these drivers' belts. A bit of a Windows taskbar going on as we're showing you the move from Orsini. Here we go.
Yeah, there it goes. Look at it. First dummy on the left, then he stays on the right, and look at this. Oh,
absolutely brilliant bit of driving. As you wanted,
beautiful.
You requested a replay, and there it is. So obviously the Italian race direction, thinking that that was well worth another watch, and indeed it was. Great move from Orsini, managing. That was for, at the time, that was for 5th place, and that was passing Carturan. So he then went on to pass Bilancini as well, and he's now pulled away from those guys to 3.3 seconds. And what is interesting here is Amir is only 6.6 seconds behind Luca Lozio, which is very interesting to me because, yes, there's only 2 minutes to go, potentially 3 laps, but very interesting to see that Hossini's only, well, is that close to Lozio after all his trials and tribulations. He's Lozio, in comparison, has had a pretty flawless race, really. He's had, well, a pretty quiet race, should we say. He's not been involved in any incidents. He's not been involved in any silly moments from himself. But he's only 6.3 ahead of Rossini, who's had contact with cars. He's been in battles left, right and centre. He's had a slow pit stop, and he's only 6.3 behind. So what could have been for Rossini, really, remains to be seen. But we might see him again next time out. And the leader now is on the final lap. Yeah, so we're only going to get 1 more lap after this one. So Carturan and Bilancini are battling away, and they're only going to have the end of this lap and 1 more to complete. 1 more tour around the circuit for Capoccia, though. I'm going to go picture in picture again. As you can see, the 2 Aston Martins battling away in the final sector now. So just shows how far ahead Capoccia is. He's coming down to Sunset Bend, which is turn 5 now, and these 2 are only just coming into the final corner now. So shows the pace that Capoccia's had tonight. And also, these guys are going to be battling for 1 final lap. Rossini, I don't think is going to have enough to catch Lozio. He's now only 5.3 behind, so unfortunately for him, he's going to run out of time.
Lozio's managing. It's managing, I think.
Yeah, he could quite possibly be managing tyres or just managing his pace to keep on the road. But the 2 Aston Martins squabbling away, and Bilancini is defending for his life, should I say, from Carturan. He doesn't want to give that position up if he can avoid it. And they're going to be awfully close here. And Carturan's all over the grass trying to get a run down towards Sunset Bend. He's not going to try and move into there, I don't think. Coming up to the final few corners now. The race timer has elapsed. That is indeed going to be the end of the race. Penultimate corner for Capoccia to negotiate now. Nice and easily done. And he's going to brake nice and early, get the car rotated and turned into the last corner. He's got to come across the line to win round 4 of the esports series.net.
Great work.
ACC League. And there he goes, across the line, swerving in.
Great work.
Celebration. We still do have battles on track, obviously, to contend with. Puzzarini coming home with a good 2nd place. Again, another strong result for him. Just not quite quick enough to keep with Capoccia tonight. Unfortunately, led the race for the first half pretty much. So still a great result for him. And Luca Lozio.
Devastating second team from Capoccia. Amazing drive.
Yeah, brilliant from him. Luca Lozio coming home in 3rd. Amir Hossini's going to come home in 4th. And then it's going to be this battle at the bottom right of your screen. And there's contact into the final corner. And he's barged his way through, and one of them's round. Who was that that's gone round? The 276 goes through, which
Carturan
is...
maybe spun.
Yes, Carturan was trying. Carturan sent one down the inside, had a bit of door banging with Bilancini. I think they hit twice, and then Carturan ended up facing the wrong way. So unfortunate there. Last ditch effort from him. Here you go. Here's the replay, and you can see into the final corner. He goes for it. 2 taps on the door, and then the 933 goes around, faces pit wall. So unfortunately, wasn't able to get the job done, but still comes home in 6th position for him. So good effort from Carturan. I think he's going to definitely take 3rd place in the championship with that one still. So good effort from him. Dondi ends up coming home in P7, I believe it will be.
Angelo lost a bit positions at the end.
Yes, he
was
did.
7.
Angelo was actually lost out to Marcucci, yeah. So he comes home in 9th after starting 11th. So not a bad result again.
No,
Colombo coming home in P10. Jean-Fres, this man on your screen, comes home in P11. Only 4 tenths behind Colombo as well. So very close between them two. And we've got Rotundo, Tozzato, Monaco, and Vladi Colombo as well in 15th. And Chiesa, after his earlier issue in the race, managed to get to the end of the race, which is fair play to him after having probably some substantial damage after that spin. He was up there, I believe he was in 3rd place at one point in the Lamborghini. Great qualifying and great start to the race, but unfortunately couldn't get the job done. And then Amato bringing up 17th position. So that will be it for the end of the race as well. So we're going to go to an advert.
61 laps, not bad.
So unfortunately, we're going to cut the stream short. But yeah, I think we will be back in 2 weeks' time for Suzuka. I'm pretty certain it's Suzuka.
Yes,
so
it is.
Hopefully, we may see some rain and more drivers on track as well, because we saw a reasonably small grid, but not too bad. So we will call it a night there. Thanks for joining me once again, Matteo, in the commentary box. And we'll catch you next time.
Thanks you. Thanks also to the audience of the Simpit. They've been quite many watching us. Let's hope they enjoyed the show. Good night.
See you later. Or
I don't know.
Madalin, puoi spegnere lo streaming, Madalin?